It's Real 92.3, man. A real after party. Bootleg Kev DJ Damage. We got a special guest here.
Miguel is here.
What's up?
Miguel.
This is his home.
Yeah.
Welcome to the. Is this your first time being up here?
I'm back home. No, I came here probably like a year ago.
Okay.
Listen,
like a year
man,
ago. Like a year ago.
You're like one of the, in my opinion, greatest R&B artists like of the last 20 years, and
Period.
probably the most slept on when it comes to like people talking about like, you know, like who's the best.
Love.
Your music is amazing, man. I'm glad to hear you're back. You are back.
Yeah, yeah.
What's been going on though the last like what's been 2 years since the last album?
Yeah, close to like a year and a half, year,
Right.
8 months maybe. So yeah, coming up on 2. But
What's been going on, man?
life,
With
man, just been living.
That's
just
good.
trying to get my mind right. You know, like the whole game is interesting because it's changing so fast. So it took me a second to just like,
Man,
wait a
it
second,
is.
let me understand what's happening and where it's going, or try and get a sense of where it's going before I really like, you know, plan my next thing. So it's been nice to kind of get my mind right.
I know musically you always evolve at each project. I feel like the last project was more, your voice was more instrumental. You know, it felt like it was more vibe. Like when I listened to the music, I feel like your vocals kind of just was like Sims. You know, they were just kind of vibing with the music. So where are you going to take it this time around?
This is, you know, this one has actually been more about, interestingly, it's kind of back and forth. It's a back and forth thing because the concept really is centers around war and leisure, and I just feel like we're all kind of dealing with, we're all fighting our own battles to just like stay positive.
Right.
Yeah.
Just to stay positive alone, to get out of bed sometimes could be a challenge when you think about like just, I mean, never mind the ethos, it's just dealing with your own life. You know,
Right,
it's just
right.
like everybody trying to just tread water sometimes, and then if you look at everything else going on, it makes
All the
it
other
really tough.
external
You know?
stuff,
Yeah.
Trump and all the other, of course.
And we could go down that road,
Of course.
you know,
So
back
much
and
stuff,
forth.
yeah.
So I think this time around, to answer your question, it's just been about, you know, using my voice, one, to be mindful, but at the same time to also like remind myself that like the best way for me to give back is to give love and to show that in the
Hell
music.
yeah.
So sometimes it's with the lyric, sometimes it is just with the feel of the music, and it's just about, you know, how that comes across. And I think overall it really is just telling the story of war and leisure, that, you know, we're all fighting our battles, and I think the best way to stay positive is to just continue spreading as much, for me, you know, creativity, and that's what the whole thing is about.
Dope, man.
Yeah.
When it comes to, like you said, you're trying to kind of figure out where music's
Skywalking over
going.
here, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's our shit, by the way.
Hey,
We play that
hey,
shit
hey.
all the time on our
It's
show.
love. Yes, I've heard.
Yeah, we love that.
I
fucking
love
record,
it.
man.
I love it. Yeah.
But no, like you're talking about where music's going. It's definitely on all fronts, creatively and business wise. It's just changing
Quick.
Yeah.
You know, I think you were kind of like real early when it came to dropping, like, you know, like you put out those 3 EPs in like a few months time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It was 3 months, 3 EPs, 3 months, 3 song EPs.
But like I feel like now it's almost like the music industry is obviously, it's almost steering away from albums anymore. It's, you know, it's Spotify playlist driven, and then on the creative side is a lot of microwavable music. Fly by night guys that are kind of coming in and out of the game, having success, and then kind of, you know, is that something that inspires you because you're kind of like one of those guys that is making quality music, or is that something that, you know, frustrates you as a creative, you know, as far as the current landscape of music is looking right now?
Man, real artists are still making albums.
Of course,
You know
shout
what
out
I mean?
to J. Cole
You
and
know,
Kendrick and everybody.
right? I mean, so many.
Of
You know,
course.
so many real artists, people who care about music, are making albums still. But, you know, businessmen understand that you got to play the game, you know? And I think it just depends on what you want out of it, you know? And for me, I enjoy being able to speak to a broad audience, and I know that, you know, I have the blessing of the ability to do that. And then I also, you know, have my creativity, like my creative need to just express myself, that I get to do that for the album, and I get to do both. So I think like songs like Skywalker is an example of me going, what is something about myself that I haven't had been able to connect with my fans on? You know what I mean? And I think even with the video, I don't know if you got a chance to catch the video, but I'm just showing like the lighthearted side of Miguel. Like,
it's just it's definitely a dope vibe for sure.
And that's that's I think a perfect way to speak to a broader audience. People who also who are in their war and leisure go to music to kind of get away from all of their stress. You know what I mean?
Does it get tougher now? I mean, you got to put out a few projects. Creatively, does it? I see how you dig deep and saying, like, you looked at yourself, I haven't presented this yet, or maybe my fans haven't seen this part of me yet. Is that creative process now harder because you have put out so many projects?
We're 3 albums in now, so
3. Yeah, this will be 4. It's a battle because not because I don't have. It's definitely not. It's not a challenge on the having something to say.
Yeah.
It's more about it's the challenge of figuring out how do I make something that people are gonna pay attention to in the ethos of what is happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for me that's the real challenge. You know, it's like I did an album that was, you know, I really wasn't trying to do like a radio song or anything. It was just like
the last album was like strictly just like
I'm just being creative
for the culture, man.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, Corrupt on NWA, like it was just
I loved it. Yeah. Oh my God, big
it.
shout out to Big Bro. You know, but I've learned, and the awesome thing is that, and this is something Pharrell told me. He was like, man, just stay curious. Like, just stay curious. If you're really interested in this shit, like, excuse me, if you're really interested in doing this, never forget there's something to learn.
100%.
And depending on where you want to go, there's something to learn on how to get there, you know? And so each album is like I had a different destination in mind, or I wanted to reach a different, you know, it's like my very first album, I was wanting to reach, you know, people who are looking for good songwriting and creative songwriting in the ethos. At the time, R&B was kind of a caricature of music. You know, it was like, okay, sex songs and
no,
you know what I mean?
What's
like,
crazy
you know,
is like when you first came out, like all the R&B artists were making really shitty 128 BPM like,
hip hop kind of bounce.
Like what was that, like 2011?
Exactly.
When All I Wanted You came out, like it was just a bunch of EDM. It was when Lady Gaga and Pitbull were popping on the radio, and every R&B artist just, it wasn't R&B.
Everybody was going super up tempo, trying to be in
it
the club.
was like, I used to hate that. I hate that part of R&B. I hate that era so much.
Yeah.
Like,
We're definitely trying to
but you
do
came
something
through
different.
with like what was needed. What are your thoughts? Like, obviously, you kind of came up on MySpace. I remember your MySpace page back in the day.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the new MySpace is like SoundCloud for artists.
I guess
You
so.
know what I'm saying? Like,
No, for sure.
I feel like everything had a time where everyone was there for music up until recently, whereas like it's kind of like I go to SoundCloud for certain kind of like, oh, I want to discover this kind of these kind of artists. Then you discover other kind of artists on, you know, streaming services, and then you discover different kind of artists elsewhere. Like, or there was a time where it was like blogs or Tumblr used to be like the joint, but that's, you know, like that. It's crazy.
Do you feel like it's too many platforms now? Like when you're trying to find good music, like you said, you got SoundCloud and then you got streaming service. You still got some blogs.
I don't know. Dying though, man.
Yeah, blogs are, it's tough.
It's tough out here.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough.
But is it too many platforms though?
No,
I don't know.
I just, you know what I think it is like every few years is just something different. Like 3 years ago, if you got your shit on Two Dope Boys and like Rap Radar,
Right?
like,
you
were lit.
Yeah.
Nowadays, like if you get on the Rap Caviar playlist, like your whole life is changing.
Oh my
Like,
God.
like it's out of here. Like,
Shout out to Tuma, bro. Yeah.
Yeah,
straight up.
You know, different game.
You're obviously from out here. You used to be roommates with Baby Bash. This is correct?
Nah, but
Did you ever like crash on his couch or something?
I definitely crashed into yeah.
Okay.
That's
a cool
That's
story.
big,
So
bro.
you used to crash
Yeah.
on Baby Bash's couch back in the day.
Yeah. He was smoking mad weed, and I'm pretty sure he had like a couple white girls come out of his room.
I was gonna ask you, like,
Pretty funny.
what is the most? Because I know Bash, and
Shout
you know,
out to Bash, that's
he's
big, bro.
one of
So
he's an
cool.
esteemed cocksman. You know, his list is very, very unfuckwittable when it comes to porn stars. But like back
Ronnie
in the
Ray
day,
all day.
shout out to
Shout
Ronnie
out
Ray.
to Ronnie
But
Ray.
what was it like being around Bash back then? Was
Oh my goodness.
I mean, that was like Bash's
Same.
heyday.
No, but he was the same. He's the same. I mean,
course.
you know, he's the same person. He's he's a good dude. That's a good person.
Good
you know?
people.
What would you say most
consistent.
changed about you since you was like in those days staying with Bash and now?
Besides your bank account, obviously.
You know, hey, hello. The experience definitely changed how I interact. You know what I mean? I think before it would be more like absorbing energy and letting that dictate how I react. You know what I mean?
I get that.
I guess now it's just like I'm just gonna be who I am. You know, you coming at me sideways, I'm gonna still be who I am. I'm gonna know how to Tai Chi. And,
Deflect.
you know, okay, you have to. You go over
Hit the
here.
Heisman on him.
You know, hit the yeah, exactly. The stiff arm. You gotta. But now I guess it's just more. I just try and be as consistent as possible. That's what I respect most about, you know, the people that I love is that they're consistent, and I think that's what we all want. Is just show me what you really are, so I know exactly what it is. Like, come on, man. And we all have our own, you know, our own stuff to deal with, and the more just consistent I can be with everyone and my energy, I think the better everything around me becomes, you know? Because then also it's like you start to, the energy starts to almost weed itself out, right? You know, it's like, look, I don't, you know, I'm going to be positive with you. And if you're able to reflect that, great. And if you're not, I got my energy and love. I have that to give. That's good. It's free. You know what I'm saying? That's good. And hopefully it helped. But the negativity didn't put me off my wavelength.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna stay on frequency. You know.
100%. I just got recently engaged. I know that you're.
Congratulations.
Yeah, for sure. I know.
Hey.
You and your wife been kicking for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Still engaged.
Still engaged. Y'all ain't married yet.
But that's been wife since.
Well, I
you
gotta
know.
figure this out though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how long you guys been engaged?
Year. We're coming up on 2 years now.
Oh, okay. So that's not too bad.
But y'all been together
you guys
for
have been together forever.
A year. Man, everything's moving so fast.
You guys have been
2
together
years,
for a
2
very
years.
long time.
Guys been together since I can remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a long
Which
time.
is
Yeah.
sick.
Well, yeah.
That's
We're
dope.
pretty much married in the state of California. We've been.
How
we've
you
been-
married?
Yeah.
You guys got
Yeah,
the
right.
wedding. When is the wedding happening?
We're talking about that now, but because you know she has a show coming out on E, that starts in October.
What show is that?
The Platinum Life is the name of it.
Okay.
Platinum Life.
Is that with like
Yeah.
the wife?
Mm-hmm.
I think Kidding Scrolls on that show.
Yeah.
Platinum
Shout out to
Life.
Ink.
Shout out to
and Aja.
Asaya, yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, I remember we were at Kidding.
Shout out to all.
Kidding
They're also
event.
everybody's so
They were
cool.
filming,
They're so
and I was
cool.
like, "Yo, if y'all need me to just start some shit in here for TV, you just let me know.
Right.
I'll push you. Who's in it? What's Lola Galore?
Lola. That's
Wait, who's Lola Galore?
What the girl used to be on Taylor
That's
Gang?
King
She's got
Los's
the
wife.
Lola
That's his-
Monroe?
Lola Monroe.
Lola Monroe.
Is Lola
Did you say
Galore?
Lola
Is that a
Monroe.
porn star?
From
Galore.
DC.
I don't know.
Lola
It might be a porn star.
Yeah.
I always
We
confuse,
know what you meant.
I
We know
always
what you
confuse
meant.
Sasha Grey and Skylar Grey all the time.
I get
And
it.
it's embarrassing.
Whoa.
Lola's
Yeah,
the
that's
homegirl.
it.
That's why I want you to get her
Yeah,
name
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Lola
yeah,
Monroe.
yeah.
Shout out to Lola.
Shout out to Sasha Grey on
Shout
that
out to
Eminem
Sasha
hook.
Grey.
And then people be like, no,
So-
now that's Skylar Grey, bro. You
It's the-
fucking pervert.
So it's the Platinum Life.
Yeah.
How do you
she
feel
has,
about that?
So she has that show coming out, and as we're starting to ramp up and start to like release more music, it's just gotten really crazy. She wants a fall wedding.
Okay.
So to answer your question, we were planning on a fall wedding, but because everything is she's got that going.
You got your
We're starting to
music.
release music.
Yep.
It just became really crazy to try and coordinate everything.
You just gotta kind of just let it play out and see.
Yeah, we're letting it. But I mean, we know what that is. That's we're solid. You
Yeah,
know?
I
That's
see
dope.
that.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful,
We're
man.
And a
rocking.
lot of
We are
people aren't
rocking.
solid.
Rocking.
What do you say? I know you're big on energy. I know it's not a secret, but how do y'all maintain that solidness? How do y'all stay whole?
I mean, the grass is greener where you water it.
I like that.
Message.
Message. So obviously you linked up with Travis Scott, which I thought was dope. I thought it was kind of like a nice compromise of like you going to his world and him coming to your world a little bit on
Yeah.
Skywalker.
Yeah.
Who else are you working with on the album?
It's a lot of actually still my friends. I work with just people that I actually really I can sit down and have a meal with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a big thing. So, you know, I've been working with Happy, who's a big time collaborator. We've been collaborating since my first album. We produced Sure Thing, which is for my space. That's like what really got it going, and we've done music consistently since then. Salam, you know,
Dope. Salam Remy, shout out Salam.
yeah.
New York and house.
There's some I can't mention because I'm excited about them, but yeah, you know, we've been working. I've been grinding, and not only for anything upcoming, but with the intention of, and this is back to answer just because how everything is changing.
Of course,
like just to consistently be able to just drop music, and I think because giving myself enough time to like create enough where, while we're moving and touring, because I love to perform and all that, I still have music that I have in my bag. But I'm like, okay,
just release one off
we
on
need
Spotify.
some more. Wow, we hit you with another. Oh, another. Okay, it's time. And that's what I think I'm excited to do, is just to be consistently in the conversation of music. I think the only way a musician at this point can help, the biggest way we can help, is just to create and to give what we do best, and that's pretty much where.
I like the record that Kyle just put out.
Yeah,
Kyle.
Sunshine.
Yeah,
shout out to Kyle.
Fire.
Shout out to Kyle.
What brought you guys to work together? Because obviously he's he's been doing his thing for a very long time out of the 805, but like he's really like one of the new guys who's
super talented, great
guy.
performer.
But what inspired you to work with him?
He's we met through Stereotypes. Shout out to Stereotypes, John, Ray, all the guys.
Man.
Jerem, all the guys over there. We met through them. Yeah, and that's another one of those things where it's just energy. Just good energy,
the best,
just good vibe. Yeah,
100%. Yeah. Any other rapping features on the project?
I mean, you never know. I mean, there's no real project. There's no project.
Is there any?
There's a project.
Any work coming? Do we have any artists from TDE that you might be working with? I just feel like there's certain artists on TDE that would be like a perfect marriage with a Miguel feature.
Your guess is as good as mine. Who
well, obviously, I think it'd be really dope. I think it'd be really dope to get a Kendrick Miguel record. It'd be really dope to get a SZA Miguel record.
That's what it is.
That would be fucking lit.
Yeah.
I
want
think
to
you
make
guys
that
have
happen.
good conversation.
I think we should make that happen.
I think so too. Who are your favorite R&B? I feel like it's in a good renaissance to where like people are actually making R&B again. I feel like there was a long period where it was just a lot of terrible R&B music being made, and then guys like yourself and The Weeknd and Frank Ocean kind of had that. Like I think kind of hit reset on the
Janae as well.
The refresher. So crazy. We were just having a conversation about that.
Yeah, like I feel like you three, like what was it, like 2012, 13, 14, like that era, you guys just kind of hit reset on the genre.
On the vibes, bro.
Yeah, man.
The vibes need to come back. People forgot about that. Everybody was in the clubs and they forgot about the R&B vibe, how it made you feel.
Yeah, like yo, shout out to Neo, but like
a big shout out to Neo.
We need another R&B album from Neo. He's amazing, but I don't want to hear Neo on another fucking song with Pitbull. Anyway, but yo,
I think Neo's about to come with some.
I can't wait.
Heat.
I'm a huge
think
Neo
he's gonna come with
but
some
like,
heat.
who are some of the R&B artists that are like, obviously there's the Bryson Tillers and the SZAs and all those people, but who's some people that you're really fucking with, that you're really listening to?
Janae's new album.
Yeah, that's super dope.
Fire. Yeah. Listening to that. Black is dope.
Black is super fire.
They is dope.
They's incredible too.
I've been hanging, like I got to hang out with a couple artists that I had just kind of like discovered, but it was one of those things where it was like we got to hang out, and then I really wanted to listen to Georgia. Georgia's super dope. I love her. There's an artist named Quinn that's out here.
Okay.
She's tight. She's super dope. Super good energy.
What's the girl from the internet that's really dope?
Sid is amazing. Listening to her stuff.
Incredible.
Obviously the internet, all of them. And they're like, that's like home fam.
For sure.
So big shout out to Sid and the internet fam,
That's what's up, man.
There's a lot there. But I'll be honest with you, because it's been mostly trying to get to a creative place, I kind of jump in and jump out.
Right.
So I might not be completely current. The most current thing I am on is Janae's album.
Well, you don't want to like...
And also big shout out to Mac and Brian. Fisticuff, excuse me.
I feel like a lot of people who like listen to too much shit that's like currently popping, it can't like there's no way for it to not influence you when you go into the studio.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think just if you soak
like
up
if you go in and you just
anything
do your
creatively.
thing, like without thinking about what's like on Spotify right now, like it'll be better. You know what I mean? But yo, Miguel, so we got some new music hopefully coming soon.
Yeah.
Skywalker's out, videos.
Skywalker's out, videos out. Just expect more music,
More videos too, because I know the last project put a lot of videos out. Great videos.
Definitely.
Ooh.
Yep.
That's what's up, man.
Stockpiling.
Know it.
Real quick, this is obviously you're engaged, but I can answer this question, so I don't know if you can answer this question. We ask every artist who is in their spank bank.
Spank bank.
The spank bank is essentially
Is that
break it down.
What's already been?
it's your top 5. You know, let's say
in my case, it'll be like hall passes.
yeah,
Hey.
perfect.
Is that
It's
what
your
it'd be?
it's your top 5 hall
This dude right
Let's
here,
say you go to prison and you got nothing but your head to think of 5 chicks in your head. You know what I mean? Obviously, wifey's there.
Hall passes. It's good. All right. I can't think of her name now. Of course. She was in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, you talking about
I know exactly what you're talking about.
the older Latin lady?
I have no idea what her name is.
What's her name?
No idea.
She's the
I know,
OG.
Yes, you do. She's the
triple. Selma
goat.
Hayek.
Selma Hayek.
Yes.
Selma Hayek.
Selma
yeah.
Hayek.
Yes.
That's a good one. That's a classic one.
There's not too many. There's only like, I'm trying to think of anyone else.
Selma Hayek.
Selma Hayek is
That's
solid.
a great
solid.
choice.
Yeah, Selma Hayek.
Vintage choice. I like it.
He said vintage. You know me and vintage cakes and all that.
Vintage cakes.
Yeah, I do vintage cakes on my stories. You should watch them.
Oh, I gotta check it out.
Yeah. Vintage cakes. I cover vintage cakes. Yeah, it's fun. Who else is there?
He pulled out a good
That's
one.
a tough one. Yeah, because we have to be real.
You got to be careful.
Yeah,
It can't be too realistic.
It can't be. Yeah, it can't be.
You can't like say an Instagram model and then your girl watch this and be like, "Come on, you follow this bitch."
I think Selma Hayek was
Selma
good.
Hayek's
Let's
great.
leave it right
Selma
there.
Hayek is definitely a hall pass. That she'd be like, all right, like
It's
I
Selma
get it.
Hayek.
It's Selma.
I get it.
Yeah.
Word up, man. Well, we appreciate you coming through, Miguel. We cannot wait to hear new music.
Yeah,
from you,
appreciate
man.
it. Thank you.
It's always good, for the landscape of music in general when you're creating. So
And performing.
Thank
yes,
you. Yeah,
absolutely.
Tour coming
More.
soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool.
Absolutely.
Can't wait for it, man.
Yeah.
Miguel, it's Real 92.3
Whoa.
LA's Home for Hip Hop.
Yeah.